lost the bet. Just lost the bet on the first shot. I missed it. So 20 push-ups. That was the bet. Yeah, he cashed already like seven of them. Probably gonna pick like the worst time, like outside when it's raining. I'm gonna get him back.
Guys, before we get to the content, I really wanted to use my platform to potentially save someone's life today. And one of my really good friends recently had a son, and the son's an infant, but unfortunately, the son has a liver infection. So pretty much what he needs is somebody that has a blood type O or A to donate a portion of their liver to the son. Now, all you need to do is donate 7% to 12% of your liver, and it will save the kid's life. But that portion of your liver will grow back, and if you're interested, I'm going to leave an email in the description down below, findyakovaliver@gmail.com, and if you can't pay for your trip to LA, I'll fly you out personally, and I'll also hang out with you as you are recovering. Once again, that's findyakovaliver@gmail.com. Now that that's out of the way, cue the music. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy the Flight Mike back again with some crazy basketball content. And man, oh man, it feels so freaking good to be back making videos like this, guys. As before I left on my trip, we made a video documenting the biggest quarantine transformations that occurred during the pandemic. And some players obviously changed their bodies for the better. Some players changed their bodies for the worse. Now, if you remember in my previous video, I did mention something about Luka Doncic potentially gaining a couple pounds and being out of shape. Now, I do have some footage of Luka Doncic practicing about a week ago, so I'm going to show you that right here, and I want you guys to draw that conclusion yourself. Do you think Luka Doncic lost weight or gained weight, or do you think he's out of playing shape? Personally, I can't really tell because of the clothes he's wearing, and he always wasn't really the skinniest guy. I think he looks about the same, but I wanted to either confirm or deny the report I made in my previous video, and I wanted to leave that up to you guys to let me know what you guys think. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some players that completely changed their bodies. And by the way, we are really close to 350,000 subscribers, so drop a like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on to help the channel grow. And let's get straight to it, because the very first guy I want to discuss here is Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis historically has either been too skinny, too lanky, or, you know, just about right or a little bit muscular. But I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but is it just me, or did Anthony Davis come back significantly slimmer over the break? Now, here's some footage and here's some photos of Anthony Davis returning to Lakers practice for the first time alongside LeBron James, who now has gray in his beard, which is driving me insane, by the way. And I don't know if Anthony Davis's slimness is something he did on purpose, or if it's a product of the fact that he may have not been working out as much over quarantine. I'm not exactly sure, but we know that Anthony Davis is very confident in the Los Angeles Lakers' ability to win an NBA championship. And he's not the only Laker who has a completely different look. And I think Anthony Davis's look is fairly minor in comparison to everyone else's. It could just be a strange camera angle. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe he does look a little different, maybe not. But the next player is, oh my goodness, he is in full freaking playoff mode, and you can't tell me he looks the same here. And I'm talking about Rajon Rondo. Originally, I was like, okay, you know, Rajon Rondo's going to come back. He's probably going to have a slightly bigger role now that Avery Bradley isn't going to be playing with the Los Angeles Lakers over the NBA restart. But take a look at Rajon Rondo. This guy looks so much more muscular and toned and in shape. I don't know if he's flexing over here. Maybe he's squeezing the ball. I'm not exactly sure. But dude, Rondo looks insane over here. And I guess he's just getting ready to bring out playoff Rondo. This is his greatest chance to win an NBA championship in literally 10 years, in my opinion. Now, the thing that sucks about this is Rajon Rondo recently sustained a hand injury, and he's had a history of these hand injuries. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So by the time he comes back, I don't really know what to expect from him, especially considering the fact that he's already been out for practically an entire offseason. So his impact for the Lakers remains to be seen. I'm thinking of making a video about what we could realistically expect from the Los Angeles Lakers, considering all of the different roster transactions that have taken place to their roster ever since the last time they played basketball. So if you'd be into that, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. The next player that we're going to be covering is actually a player that I already made his own video for, but come on, bro, I have to include him in this video, and that's Carmelo Anthony. And I think Carmelo Anthony is going to be a completely different version of himself. Now, not only did he lose a ton of weight, but it appears as if the Portland Trail Blazers are making him commit more to the defensive side of the ball, which makes sense because, in my opinion, the Blazers are already a phenomenal offensive team with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and Carmelo Anthony, and they really just need more help on the defensive end. I don't really know how much Carmelo Anthony's commitment to defense is going to impact the Trailblazers, because we've seen plenty of videos like this before. I've seen many of videos of Ben Simmons hitting threes, and he has yet to impress me with his three-point jump shot selection.
Ben Simmons.
Let's go home. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You got it. Stop. You know what? Well, Stan played pro football. If he does this, though.
But nonetheless, it's really nice to see Carmelo Anthony losing weight and doing whatever it takes to prolong his career. And I'm really hoping that he crushes it in the playoffs and can continue a career in the NBA even after this season. But dude, I think there's two transformations that caught my eye the most. One transformation is, well, let's start with this one because this one's absolutely crazy and I don't think anyone's talking about this. Dude, look at freaking Mo Bamba, okay? Mo Bamba came into the league very lanky and with a ton of potential, a tremendously high ceiling, and I was kind of bummed out when he got drafted by the Orlando Magic because, dude, they have Aaron Gordon, they have Nikola Vucevic. It's like, how is he going to have the opportunity to develop into the stretch 4 beast that he could be and be a problem on the defensive end? I really think Mo Bamba has the potential to at least be a high-end starter someday, but my man came into the Orlando bubble with, no joke, an additional 20 pounds of muscle on his frame, which is insanity. If you look at this interview over here, man. I am kind of suspicious about his weight gain, and I'll tell you why. And I don't, you know me, I'm not the type of person that throws around the steroid word all the time. I don't accuse players of doing such a thing, but I am very big into the bodybuilding community, and if you've seen my TikToks, you probably get the idea that I know what I'm doing. And I don't mean to like flex or anything, but I could tell if a player has taken something. And it appears as if Mo Bamba's face is retaining massive amounts of water. So I don't know if this is a genetic thing. I don't really think it's worth it for him to take such a thing. He could have just really had a great diet and ate a lot, but the one thing that's kind of sketching me out is his face. Now, again, it could be the angle. I could be 100% wrong here. It could be his genetics, or maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, because typically if there's water retention in the face for a steroid user, it usually goes to the forehead. But if you look at all steroid users, like, their face gets significantly puffier. So I'm going to let you guys determine that for yourselves. Nonetheless, 20 pounds of muscle on Mo Bamba's body is going to make him a problem on the defensive side of the ball. I just hope they get him more playing time. This is the future of the Orlando Magic we're talking about here, in my opinion, and I'm glad to see that he's putting on pounds. He absolutely needed it. Now this next player is significantly more famous for his weight gain. I've seen videos on this while I was taking my hiatus, and of course, more recently, we found out news that he actually had to leave the Orlando bubble to attend to either a medical emergency or a family matter or a little bit of both, and I'm talking about Zion Williamson. Now, the only thing I have to base Zion's weight loss off of is the fact that they took this one really good picture of him, and it kind of sucks to hear that he came back into practice and he suffered through leg cramps, because if you're suffering through leg cramps, you might there's one of two things. You either aren't really well conditioned or you just happen to eat a lot before doing cardio. So I'm just hoping, or you just didn't drink enough water, or you don't have enough sodium in your body. So I'm just hoping that this picture is legit. Zion looks good. This is, of course, the most marketable player, the most marketable young player in the NBA right now, and the future of the NBA really is on his shoulders in terms of having that fun, high-flying, electrifying player that just makes our jaw drops with the great bursts of athleticism that he puts on display. Zion is super important to the fiber of the NBA. And once LeBron James is out the door, I'm not saying Zion's the next LeBron, but in terms of the next big athletic freak of nature, we have Zion. And the last time we had a great athletic freak of nature, it was Blake Griffin. Unfortunately, his injuries kind of sapped him of his athleticism very early on, but during peak athletic Blake Griffin, he just made our jaws drop with the type of acrobatics that he would perform. And I'm hoping that we see a lot of that from Zion. I hope he is able to sustain a very long career and make sure that he is underneath a certain weight so he doesn't put too much pressure on his knees. But for the most part, Zion looks great, and I'm really, really rooting for him in the bubble. It's kind of funny, well, not funny, but it's kind of ironic if he's not able to play in the next couple of games because he left the bubble, and the NBA did all this stuff and reordered a bunch of stuff just so they can include the New Orleans Pelicans to try to get Zion into the playoffs. But either way, this video is about transformations, and for the most part, Zion is killing it in terms of transformations.
Mentioned earlier, the leading vote getter for the All-Star game, the first player ever to exceed 3 million votes. The officiating crew here tonight: Mark Wondoluk in his 18th season, Ron Elysiak in his 21st year, and Tony Brothers in his 15th season. East and West getting ready to take the court. Reggie, we were talking yesterday about your very first All-Star appearance back in 1990 in Miami. What was the mindset at that time?
Very, very nervous. Walking in the locker room, there's Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, as we mentioned yesterday, a very skinny and svelte
plays, several versions of the pick and roll.
No, this is called scripting minutes. We talked to Mike Brown before the game, and he was talking about that and how you get down with your assistant coaches and you script out the minutes to make sure, Marv, in that fourth quarter, about the 8-minute mark, guys have got their playing time, so then you can go with the guys you want to go with at that point in time to try to win the game.
Now, Mike Brown, the Cavaliers head coach, did tell us that he wants to play the 3 Celtics and the 2 Magic players, Dwight Howard and Rashard Lewis, 40 minutes plus here tonight.
We'll be getting a memo, I'm sure, from both of those general managers if that does happen.
The East in control in the dark uniforms, the blue. And here is Wayne Wade from 3.
This guy has been on a mission ever since last year when he got hurt. People questioned whether or not he should be on the Olympic team. He has been a driven man going to the gold medal, and he's coming back with a sensational early part of this season.
Kobe Bryant from way downtown. And back comes LeBron James. LeBron to the rim.
Well, it's going to be size versus speed. The West has the size, but the East, with LeBron James, especially in the open court, has the speed.
Amari Stoudemire. And rebounded by Dwight Howard. Amari Stoudemire has been very much in the news over the weekend, the subject of much trade speculation. At one point reported all 29 other teams had called to inquire. Wade again with a 3, and it's rebounded by Duncan.
It's always nice to be wanted. 2019.
You just don't want to have a fire sale to give up somebody like that. That's the only problem.
And it's very difficult to get equal value.
Exactly.
The fadeaway move. And it's a run down by